Wow. Wow.
Et le point le plus intéressant dans cette
One interesting point is Algeria and Morocco have very different interests, and France's relationship towards Algeria and Morocco has been quite different. Whereas Algeria has a closer connection to China and Russia, the Moroccans are closer to Israel. What was interesting was that when Macron suddenly started becoming closer to Algeria, people even questioned it to the point of, is there something going on? Is there some sort of blackmail happening behind the scenes? He was the first president to try and form closer ties to Algeria like this. But suddenly, Macron reversed course and started forming greater ties with Morocco. When I published information on Brigitte and Jean-Michel Trogneau, I read an article in the La Nouvelle République d'Alger, which is essentially the equivalent of the Washington Post in Algeria, and who have ties to Algerian intelligence. They stated Macron started moving closer to Morocco due to Morocco blackmailing him using Israeli spy software called Pegasus. So when Morocco forced Macron's hand to increase ties with them, this paper in Algeria actually said that Macron is, quote, a cocaine-addicted president and psychopath under the influence of his, quote, wife, Jean-Michel Trogneau, who leads France without ever having been elected. So to conclude with a little exclusivity, the Ministry of Armed Forces in France did not want to give us military files for Jean-Michel Trogneau, saying that he was protected by a medical note which dated to 1981. So the Ministry of the Armed Forces in France refused to issue the military file of Jean-Michel Trogneau. But by following this trail, we were able to discover other documents. At the time, the father obtains a deferral from military service because his son is training in Paris, and this training is the same. We asked the same information from the Jesuits for the photos and directory of Jean-Michel Trogneau. After a year and a half of procedures, they finally gave us a photo. It's Jean-Michel Trogneau at 18 years old. There's no room for doubt. We have the directory, we have the list which certifies that it is indeed the same individual. And so there we see Jean-Michel Trogneau, and when we compare him, it's very striking since we actually see distinctive signs which aren't misleading, notably below the mouth and this thing here, which looks like a mole or a pimple. To sum things up, when you are able to control the media, when you're able to dictate the media and have them go your way, one could create from this picture a sort of Claudia Schiffer pinup who met Emmanuel Macron when he was 14. I believe in the future, producers and film executives will have a field day recreating this interesting story.